Well, I hit the stop record button by accident because I'm an idiot. So these are two separate videos to the same tour here. Just gonna begin where I left off. I'm gonna put the arrow away from the stop button right now. Remember, I'm holding a computer doing this, so I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, currently it's on, Castlevania 4? So, Super Nintendo Classic's awesome. It's got Earthbound on there. Um, you know, all the Super Nintendo games you would want to play pretty much are on there. Then of course the NES Classic is right there too. This little guy. I have a couple knockoff Chinese NES Classics, but they're loaded with games that literally repeat the names over and over again, like sometimes 2-3 times. It's kind of funny. It's like they just, in China, just downloaded a bunch of stuff that they didn't even know they were going to download and put it on a NES Classic. And as you can see on this TV right now, I have a quite rare Nintendo game playing that I am proud to have the game and the manual for, if you can see the manual there. If not, I'm just going to put it in front of the camera. Pretty good condition, too. This thing alone is worth $70. It's insane. It's insane. Game collecting is insane, though. Die Hard probably worth about close to $200 right now, I would say, just for the damn game. And if I ever come across the box for it, it's more than the freaking game. It's like $250, $300 for the stupid box. Yeah, game collecting's insane. It really is. But if you want to get good stuff, you gotta go big. And I usually do on eBay. Most of my stuff comes from eBay, but it's not always true. I do a lot of Facebook Marketplace, and, friends have games they want to get rid of. They know that I collect, and usually I just buy them from friends, too. And that's how it's been lately with the Simpsons arcade machine. And recent Nintendo games I got in were from a friend, Tommy Zellner, old friend from high school. Actually, both of these guys I'm talking about were old friends from high school. So moving on, this TV is basically just designated for Fios cable. It's dying. It takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours for it to warm up. So, yeah, I'm going to have to replace that pretty soon. Oh, and about this TV, with the flip of the remote control, we got Nintendo here. We got Super Nintendo there. And this is Knights of the Round, which is a pretty sweet, rare Super Nintendo game. Worth over $100, I want to say. And I beat it. If you like medieval games, this is one that you need to get. Medieval, side-scrolling fighting, but it's fun. It's like, I'd relate it to Golden Axe a little bit, but Super Nintendo style. Yeah, it's a game that kind of got overlooked on Super Nintendo. Oh, what's on my floor? Because I'm insane and I went and drove out to Dunkirk to buy a Nintendo toy chest. A Nintendo toy chest. So the best side is the Mario 3 side here. This is like, the paint looks in great condition. You got the top here. I don't know what they're trying to do. It's Mario related on the top. I don't know if it's from a specific game. I'm guessing NES 1 or Mario 1? Yeah, NES 1. And then on this side, there's Zelda. And then you go another way. It's Zelda again. So that was pretty cool. Picked that up for $80. It's going for like $150 to $500 on eBay. I'm not even kidding. depending on what condition you got it in. Mine's in pretty decent shape. It's not in perfect shape, but it's, I mean, it looks like it's been used for a while, but it's in pretty decent shape. So moving on, now we're going to kind of get to like the setup of my room. Random games floating around. Got Double Dragon 2 up there. You can see it. Oh, right there. Star Trek 2. Both CIB. CIB means complete in box, with game manual and box, if you didn't know that. But I'm sure most of you gamers know. So going over here, kind of have a little war going on with all my figurines from when I was a kid. G.I. Joes and Matchbox cars and such. Oh, and Creekers came down to join me. Now he's down here with me. Creeks likes the game room too. We spend a majority of the time down here. It's both our favorite rooms. You can see the Ninja Turtles there in the back. Got all those guys. He-Man leads the charge there. Freaking Power Ranger in the back. And then we step over here, which is like the R through Z collection of my PlayStation 2 games, which there's a whole lot more. And then up here, I got Super Mario 1, 2, and 3, complete in box. Also a Popeye, complete in box, a Gumshoe, complete in box, and a Legend of Zelda, complete in box. And Pokemon, I'm not really a collector of them. I have a bunch of these McDonald's 2021 collectibles, though. If you're interested in buying them, I'm willing to sell them. I have a bunch of them. So just contact me. Most are unopened with the packs inside, all extra stuff inside. So let me know. This is my wall of mostly CIB Nintendo games. And these two up top are pretty what they call gems in the game collecting industry. You got the Jetsons, Cogswell's Caper there. I just picked that up a couple months ago, worth about anywhere from $200 to $300. It varies a lot. And that's Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom, which is also varies between, I'd say, $150 to $250 right now. But it changes year by year. And a bunch of other CIB NES games. And don't ask me how I got them all to balance like that, but sometimes they fall over. But this has been like this for a while. So, knock on wood, it stays up. And then we're going on here. 1 second as I take a sip of water. Mouth gets dry describing all these games and systems. Did I mention I'm a collector of games and systems? And if you're a gamer, I encourage you to do it. It's fun. Retro is fun. Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo, you can't beat those systems. Sega CD. I'm just a big fan of Sega Genesis and Sega CD in general. I bought it, got it when I was a kid. For good grades, I believe. Pretty much not too far after when it came out. Well, the second model anyways. And speaking of Sega CD, this is my other Sega CD that I bought probably about a year ago. And this is the newer one. It has nothing saved on it. I've wiped the memory on it, so there's nothing on this. I don't know how long it's been used. I know it came from Seattle, Washington, though. And I'm going to turn it on and show you a little bit of Sonic CD if you've never seen that. Yeah, let's not break anything. Gotta love Sega. The only annoying thing about the I can talk. The only annoying thing about the Sega CD is if you turn the power off to it, the power strip, you have to reformat the internal memory, which is really stupid. Because, like, what if you use a game that uses both the internal memory and the external memory? It's just, I don't know. Has anyone else experienced that, or is this just my system? Let me know. Because Sega CDs are weird. I just want to know, on this one, can I save my game, and will it save? Because my other one is probably filled up on its memory. I know I've tested a lot of games on that, and since I plugged it in, I don't know, I don't think I've had any problem with that getting its memory wiped, so when you turn off the power, so Sega CDs are weird. Then we go over here. You got DuckTales 2, another rare Nintendo game. If you've never seen that up close, I'll show you that. This is probably worth about $300. Pretty great shape. Ironically, the first board, one of the first boards you can play in this game is Niagara Falls. So kind of a Western New York Buffalo related thing. Didn't know that till I picked the game up. Found that on Facebook Marketplace. It's just a matter of, I guess, checking Marketplace at the right time. Now, I don't know if this is going to tape well, but I'm going to try to play level 1 for you, just so you can see a little bit of Sonic CD here. I think Sonic CD's the best Sonic game ever made. Just my opinion, though. Yeah, I really hope this Sega CD saves games, because I have Lunar, the Silver Star for it, and you gotta save a lot in that game. And I don't want to be... I have the external memory cards and everything, too, but I'm going to have to leave the power strip on for the rest of its life to have the game stay in its memory. Something seems wrong with that. But I don't know. I have to mess around with both and troubleshoot and see what I think the problem is after messing around with them. I love Sonic. Sonic's great. I beat Sonic 2 when I was probably 11, 12, somewhere around there. That game is hard. I can't beat it now. How the hell did I beat it as a kid? You got me. Practice, I guess. And video game limitations. I did not have Sonic CD as a kid. This is one I bought as an adult. Alright, that's the first level. You've seen enough. It's going to go into a bonus level, but I'm going to keep it moving.
Get a little more of that water.
Oh, describing my collection takes a lot out of me. It's a lot to cover, man. Let's see here. Now we got some CIB Nintendo games up here on the top of my shelves. Super Tecmo Bowl, 2 versions of Tecmo Bowl, because one's the original version, one is the second version. The original version has players that the second version does not have. Dodgeball, Super Dodgeball, one of the first games I actually owned on Nintendo. Let's see, we'll do the PS2 games first. I start with all the number games, but this is A through E. Top row, bottom row, PS2s. Some CIB, some not. Now you go to this row, and you got 2 tiers of PS2 games. 1 tier, and then there's a tier in the back, too. It goes 2 tiers deep. And this is, I believe, E to J. And then we go down to this one. And this is J to M. Because this also goes 2 tiers back, as you can see. And then you go down here, you got 1 tier, and that's from M to R, Resident Evil. And then all my PS1 games are down here. I have a pretty big collection of those, too. Some CIBs, some not. That's a good one I could show you here. That's worth something. Well, Chrono Cross, I mean, it's not worth much, but it's still a great game. Oh, I know what I could show you. I didn't point it out when I was over here. I have 2 copies of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. One over here. This one's in really good condition, CIB. And then I got one way over by the battle. I'm going to try to point to it, that thing. This thing right there. And it's in okay condition, it plays, but it's not in as good condition as this one. So I could sell one eventually, and that's probably worth over $100 easily, complete. Oh yeah, over here, I also have a second Nintendo, original Nintendo, and another PlayStation 2. So yes, that's right. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 PlayStation 2s in here. I like my PlayStation 2, man. Don't make fun of me. Oh, and then there's a third Nintendo in here with the zapper and controllers and everything. Just in case my childhood one dies, because sometimes it plays games great, sometimes it's glitchy. And I've played the shit out of that thing, so that's probably why it's dying on me. But I got a backup. Technically own 4 Nintendos. There's one over there too, but it's not in the best of shape. Now we'll go with the collection on this shelf. And this is original Nintendo games, going from A to D. Abadox to Dirty Harry. And then we go over here. Oh, this is my Doom corner. Also a nice print, 3-day print of Ween playing in Vegas, 2021 at the Brooklyn Bowl. Went to all 3 nights. That was my last Ween show before they are now on hiatus again. So this is the Doom corner. You know, that's the devil head. I just picked up Final Doom last week in a 56 game PS2 game buy. That's actually what's inside the Nintendo toy chest. There's a bunch of PlayStation 2 games in there that I got to test that I also bought along with the toy chest when I drove out to Dunkirk for it. So now down here you got D Nintendo games, 2L, and that's Donkey Kong to Legacy of the Wizard. And then you got down here Legend of Kage, L2, Snoopy. Silly Sport Spectacular. I couldn't remember the name for a second. But you might have seen that I have lots of doubles and sometimes triples of games. Well, sometimes, I'm looking for a game, but then on eBay there's an ad with the game I want with 2 other games I already have or something, but it's cheaper to do it that way. So I end up just buying in bulk. And then I end up getting a lot of extras. So if you're looking for any sort of Nintendo games, I most likely have it, and I most likely have a double copy of it. I have a lot of doubles for Nintendo. These are games I just got in. You got 2 Kirby's Adventure, Jordan versus Bird, 5 Screw Golf, and Dragon Power, which I had never heard of. It's a weird game. Definitely going to explore it more, though, in the future. And what else can I show you? Oh, didn't even conclude the NES games. Over here were S, Soccer, 2, W, Winter Games, and then we got W, Z. And yes, I do own a Nintendo game for every letter of the alphabet. If I were to guesstimate how many Nintendo games I have right now, it's somewhere between 350 and 400. So that's on my way to almost half the NES collection. I'll never own the full Nintendo collection because some games are ridiculously expensive. Thousands of dollars that, until I make tons of money, I'm not even thinking about going after. I'm a musician who teaches and plays drums for a living in a band. So I'm month to month, baby, but living the dream. So I'm at least able to afford my hobby here. Because it was always a dream of mine, even as a kid, to have my own arcade and share it with people. And yeah, it's just been a childhood dream of mine. So I was always an arcade kid back when malls and restaurants and everything else had arcades. And honestly, getting the Simpson arcade game yesterday blew my mind. Because it's like now I own actually an authentic game that isn't on any other system but the stupid Commodore 64. I shouldn't call it stupid, but not the best system to play the Simpsons arcade game on, I would think. Oh, and then on this shelf, I kind of set up the top of it the other day. That's the official Nintendo Player's Guide. Dude who I bought the toy chest from just threw it in for free. What a good dude. Guy from Dunkirk. And I got some rare Ween CDs there. Single of Stay Forever. And a single of Even If You Don't. And that's Clay Fighter in the back there that I also got from the same toy chest guy. That was a fun game back in the day, too. And then the Super Game Boy, which you can put in your Super Nintendo and play Game Boy games on the TV. And I think that about wraps it up. Oh, all these games in the box over here, if you were wondering, are for sale. I have Nintendo games, I have PS2 games, PS1 games, Sega games. You name it. What system, I most likely have games for sale for it. Xbox 360 games. Yeah. PS3. Whatever. A lot. So if you know anyone interested, let me know. And that has pretty much, I think, wrapped up everything. Here's Diddy Kong Racing. CIB, forgot to mention that. My ghetto record player. It still sounds okay. But that, I think, wraps it on up. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I'm just doing a quick scan around. Oh, yeah. The Sega, the shelf. I own about, I would say, close to 70 Sega games with the game in box, and some with the manuals as well. This is 2 tiers back, and then there's loose Sega games on top. One that I could just pull out that I know is kind of rare and worth something, that's Time Killers. That I just dropped on the floor. Thank God it's in plastic. I had this featured on my last game room tour too. Rare game that not many people played in the arcades back in the day. They wanted to be like Mortal Kombat really badly. Not a lot of people liked it. I liked it. Alright. More Sega CIB or not, but with the box. My Sega CD games, which I own probably about 30, 35 of them. 40 maybe. Creakers makes another appearance. Hey, buddy. He just looks at me like, what? Super Nintendo games down here. I just started collecting for maybe, I'd say 5, 6 years ago. So, not the biggest collection, but I have some good Super Nintendo games. And then the Atari 2600 down here. If I could figure out the 7800, I believe I could play the games from the Atari 2600 on the 7800. I believe that is the thing. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that concludes the game room tour. Sorry it had to go to 2 videos because I hit the stop button on the first one, but thanks for staying with me the whole time if you stayed with me, and we'll see you next time on Big Jilm's Gaming Channel. Hope you enjoyed the tour. See ya. Have a great weekend.